Okay, this is the SigP290 top rail of the gun. If you don't know how to get the slide and barrel and such off, go out on YouTube. There's several good videos that show you how to do this. It's not really that difficult once you learn how to do it. This video pretty much is just to show you how to pull the firing pin out, which a lot out there. In fact, I just kind of used a little logic and a little time and figured it out myself. There's no video other than this one, that I could find. So you've got this the slide off. Pulling out the barrel is easy. Just pull back on the slide pins here, and just remember there's two springs inside of this, so be very careful, don't lose them. You can set that off to the side, and the barrel just slides right out very easily. So barrel's out. Now what you've got left is, of course, the top slide, and you're sitting there going, okay, how the heck do I get the firing pin out? Well, most pistols, this rear slide will come up, and on the P290 it's no different. It does come up, but the trick is learning how to get the pin, the firing pin in here far enough forward so you can pull that. Well, the secret is this little round area right here. That's actually a retaining pin. Doesn't look like it, but it really is. Take something soft. I use just the end of a ballpoint pen, the cap of it, and I push it down slightly. Let's see if I can get this in the video here for you with keeping my fingers out of the way. And down it goes. Now what I can do is I can take the other end of the ballpoint pen and actually push on the firing pin, if I can get it on there. Firing pin will go forward, and now the slide will come up. Now be very, very careful here. You can see how that's come up slightly. If you come up too far, the firing pin's going to go shooting out along with the spring, and good luck finding it. So slide it up. You can kind of hear it popping all. Make sure you remember the orientation. You can always tell where the firing pin here is going up against the back, the rear stop here, so you can see that. Lightly let up on the retaining pin here, and you can see the firing pin won't really move very easily. It will pop out of there if you pull hard enough, but just slightly push down and it'll slide right out for you. And there it is. There's the spring for it. That'll just slide right off. You can clean those now. Now lightly let up here, and now you can pull this retaining pin out. And this is the tricky part, because underneath is a very, very small spring. Now you can always figure out which way this pin goes back in, because it's got an indentation in one end. That definitely goes into the spring area, and you'll see this in a second. Now carefully turn that over, and that pin usually will come out, not all the time. Sometimes it gets a little stuck in there. You can use the firing pin. Let's see if I can get it out of there. There it is. So there's that little retaining spring, or retaining pin spring. Very, very small little spring. You can see the bottom of it is rather wide, and then of course the top is small, and that of course fits into the bottom of the pin itself. That's all there is to it. It's completely apart. You can go ahead and tear that down. Now I won't take out the pin here, which pulls out the extractor. Not really interested too much in that. The extractor can be cleaned fairly easily, but it does allow you now to get down into that shaft and clean where the firing pin is. A lot of good gets down there. And to put it back together, you just reverse the process. And you really have to make sure that this little spring here, get it, there we go, sets flat and flush against the bottom of the slide here. And you just kind of have to look down there, and it will go in. Kind of a pain sometimes, especially with my eyesight. Yep, let me dump it back out. Still haven't got it. This may take a few tries. There we go. There we go. That's better. Just make sure that small part of the spring is centered pretty well. And once again, make sure you've got the right end of the retaining, and of course you know which way the cam goes on this. The firing pin slides through this area right here, so it's going to be facing inwards. Slide that puppy down in there. Down it goes. I'll put my firing pin back together. Make sure the spring's on good. I'm going to have to push down. Whoops, easy. Don't let that sucker shoot out. Right down there. In the firing pin goes. This is the fun part. You remember which way this goes. We'll slide it on. I can get it in there. There we go. At the same time, pushing the firing pin in. Sometimes it's a pain in the behind. You can get it most of the way in, and then the rear retainer here will actually hold the firing pin down, and then get your firing pin the rest of the way in, which is kind of a pain. I don't want it to come shooting out at me. Got my finger on top of the rear cover here, so once I do get the firing pin, if I ever do, there we go, get it in there, it locks down. And the question is, I believe I put this in upside down. I did. What do you know? Round part goes towards the top. There we go. Let's get this back in here again. Try this again. Oops. One more time. Get that in there. There we go. That holds it in. Get the rest of the way in here. Oop, almost. Almost. A little bit more on the firing pin. I can get the darn pin to stay on it. Come on. Always so much fun. Come on. There we go. And ta-da. It's all back together. Cam is in there straight. Firing pin is back where it's supposed to be. There we go. You can see a little bit of that way. Everything looks good. Take another pin if you want. See if I can do this without looking. Go ahead and push on that firing pin. It should only go in part way. And if you actually look at the inside in here where the pin actually extends, it should not come through there unless, oops, unless this, let's see if we can see it this way, the retaining pin is pushed down, which then if you push in the firing pin, it allows it to extend all the way in, and you can actually look inside and see it stick in there. So you know that it's functional and it's operating properly. Don't forget to properly oil it, and don't over oil it. It doesn't take much. You don't need to go nuts with it. That just makes more goo for you to clean out later and could cause some jamming problems. So but there it is. It's all back together. I can slide it back onto the pistol grip area and go ahead and do a function check, and then go ahead and reload, and I'm good to go. That's all there is to it. Not bad, eh?